Howdy folks, LP Guru here signing in for Let's Play Final Fantasy 1 Episode 19. As always, we're going to be picking up right where the previous episode ended. Now that we have the Levy Stone in our possession, it is time to make good use of it. Which will be done shortly after getting through whatever fights were encountered along the way. And we just thought we were done with the rivers around this area, but not quite. I'll be looking at the handy dandy world map once again, and this time our target destination is ironically very close to where we first put into the river, right here, this little patch of a desert region. We've got a good bit of variety in this fight. The game is throwing just about every type of monster that could be encountered in the river area at us. A little over 1,000 experience. I would definitely take it. There's the ship. Oh, we don't need that right now. We need to head south. And right here's a little piece of land that you need to get to in order to disembark from the canoe. Otherwise it would try to take you to the ocean, which we cannot get to from the canoe since we have already left the ship behind. So right here, you come up into this little desert patch. Go to your key items, select the Levy Stone, and enjoy. And then just like that, the airship is now in our possession, which means that every location is now available. And another huge added bonus. Yeah, it can seem a little disorienting at first, the graphics, but another huge added bonus is that there are no enemy encounters while traveling by airship. I'm trying to see if there's a way to land. That's the other flaw though, that you have to find, as just demonstrated, you have to find a piece of regular land. Even that won't work. So I'm gonna test it here. If it'll let me, nope. Down one more, nope. It has to be just regular land, no trees in your way at all. Flying around, because now I'm looking for the town of Gaia. I honestly can never remember exactly where it's located. There we go. Here we go. Good to know. Yeah, I'm coming here really quick because there's a very, very, very important event coming up in the game in the very near future. Most of which requires a certain kind of change that I'm wanting to see. And that'll be very nice. Cure 4 fully restores hit points. But we must have the White Wizard. Only the White Wizard can use either of those two spells. So it is the Black Magic spell shop that has what the Black Mage can use. Ice 3 is usable by both the Black Mage and the Black Wizard. Break is only available for the Black Wizard. I'll be going ahead and making this purchase. It's a nice addition to have in our arsenal of spells. And while I'm here, I will also check out the weapon and armor shop, wherever it may be. Which I know this is not the weapon or armor shop, but I'm looking around really quick. Okay, so this is a nice place to stop off at initially, just to give everyone a general heads up. I won't speak on the story-related event that will be playing out in the near future, but just stopping by any of the magic shops in this town may give a good indicator as to what that future story event may be. But we've already looked at the level 7 spells for both white magic and black magic. Now I'm looking at the level 8 really quick. Not going to talk about anything for too long. But as you can read, stop, stops time for foes, immobilizing them. Banish, sends foes to another dimension. and Doom instantly kills a foe. And unless I'm mistaken, Doom either has a 100% success rate unless the enemy has an immunity to it, or if it's not 100% successful, if that's not its success rate, it's very close to it. And as is being witnessed, since these are the level 8 spell shots respectively, that means that these are the final spells of the game. Holy damages foes with divine light. Null all reduces all spell damage by 50%, which is going to come in very handy. It will eventually replace all the various, null fire, null bolt, all those. They're all included in this one spell. Even if we could get it right now, we don't need it right this minute, but it will be a very important spell that we will come back and purchase at some point in the future, and then dispel or despell. Another one of those names you could pronounce either way, but it simply means that it obliterates a foe's magical defenses. And in this game, and in the original Final Fantasy, that is its role. It may also serve an additional purpose. I won't really know until I am able to buy it and test it out in fights and everything. But in future Final Fantasy games, it has a much more, not just a much more important role, but it has a broader role. And here we are in the armor shop. We have the ruby armlet, which is a whopping 40,000 gil, and the protect ring, which is only 16,000 gil, and that's going to be red. Ruby armlet, it's a decorative armlet with a ruby inset, and the protect ring is a ring that guards against instant death. So of the two, ruby armlet has a defense stat of 24. Protect ring only has a defense stat of 8, but this one is the more important, since it 100% guarantees that a character is protected from instant death. So yes, I will go ahead and make this very necessary purchase. It will have every character's stats change accordingly. Now, keep in mind, it protects against instant death. So, abilities and spells similar to Reaper or Doom or even Poison sometimes that has a chance of making sure I actually have, I think it should, yeah, it should everything here. Everybody has it equipped, but it protects from things like that. It doesn't actually protect against the KO status. There's a huge difference between those two. Any character can still be knocked out. Okay, looks like no one can equip this. None of the characters, because it belongs to a different job that none of the characters are. But yes, it's very important to distinguish that difference. So I did not know what I was talking about in the previous episode. I said that tents cost a lot of money, and that is not the case. It is cottage. The cottage item is what costs the most of the two. We're relatively good on both items for now, so no need to purchase, because they're the type of item that's a one and done. Since you can save your game after using it, you're not going to be using them, multiple times, and you have to be outside of a dungeon as well in order to use it. So that's the only drawback. We've been everywhere else, it looks like. I don't think anyone has anything of particular interest to say. But I'm still looking. I might try this dude down here. Nope, not yet. Bless you. I wouldn't even know how to begin to attempt pronouncing that desert's name. No, I'm sure it's not just a mirage. Trying to find anyone that can tell us anything of direct importance. Okay, that is a good piece of information to know. Not right now, but in the future. I'll run back up to this dude, see what he has to say. And yeah, that is the building that I thought it might be, but wanted to go inside just to make sure. And just as a heads up, I could be leaving this town at any step that I take. I'm openly exploring. But if we accidentally leave town like we just did, then I'll just go back in. No big deal. Alright. I think that's everyone. Okay, I was not expecting that to be the edge of town. Alright, let's try that one more time. One more time. I couldn't tell you. Alright, so that was a little bit of info. It doesn't really come right out. And you know, spell things out for us, but that is the direction we need to head in. So, to the west we go. Look at the map one more time. And looking at the map, this seems to be that the Tower of Mirage, like a Tower of a Mirage that we were being told about. I believe it is right here in this desert. But we need to head to this town, due west, just to see. I'll actually head back east, it's quicker. Fly across the mountain, that way we've already passed it a good while ago. Alright, we should be, there we are. There we are. But the next question is, are we going to be able to land and check it out? And the answer is yes, but now, now I've got to find a good place to land. Yeah. Up here. Right, and let me do it right here. Alright, our destination lies to the northeast. I'll check the map again, but yeah, this should be oh no, maybe mistaken, but I think there's gonna be that mountain range. Let me double check. I'd hate to walk all that way only to, no, we can't. Alright, so we can actually land somewhere else. So I was mistaken. Alright, one more time. Alright, it's to the northeast, so it's right across here. As I can get us to it properly. Alright, so it's left and up just a little bit. But it may not be our point of interest right this minute now. I think it's in that waterfall, which I don't think we can. No, we can't access from there. You could with the canoe, but we have to find the means of access, but that's not our destination just yet. Gaia was our first, and now we're having to head to the, I believe here we go, the location is known as the Citadel of Trials, if I'm not mistaken, but you can't land here either. You have to, it has to literally be a piece of land that is just regular green in color. So Bearing that in mind, we must land in this location. And walk. But as always, we want to get our proper bearings. Because sometimes when you look at the world map, I'm just testing my theory, and I am right. It can only be grass. But sometimes when you look at the world map, it can look like this area right here, and I'll show you again. Show everyone again, but when you zoom in on it, it looks like it's an entire mountain range where you can't walk at all. So that's why I'm showing this really quick, because it's for my sake as well. When you're simply looking at the map, sometimes it seems like all in this area you can walk normal, but then you'll eventually run into this, and it looks like a solid mountain range where you could no longer travel. So that's why I'm doing this to get my proper bearings. But yes, this is where you land, and we have to take the long way. And it is quite a trek. Without having the regular ship, we can't simply sail directly to it. So they were very deliberate in how they programmed the game. I mean, you could technically have sailed from the southeastern corner where Crescent Lake is. We could have sailed from that point all the way up here, and then to this little river that's at the bottom of the screen and use the canoe. But it takes so much longer because all the fights, all the random encounters that lie in wait if you did such a thing. The encounter rate is much higher on the water than it is on land, believe it or not. So in the long run, it is definitely quicker to do what we're doing right now. And if we hadn't taken the airship, we wouldn't have been able to reach Gaia. That's another huge factor too. And Gaia is, it is just a little important in learning about the place that we are heading to. It is never, unless I'm mistaken, and we just haven't run into someone in Gaia yet, but unless I'm mistaken, I don't believe the Citadel of Trials is actually named before we get there. It's another one of those vague moments in gaming. If you don't know, but if this is your first time playing, if this were my first time playing, I wouldn't know that. It would be trial and error. I would have been flying all, well, I kind of already was flying all over the place, but I wouldn't have actually known my destination ahead of time. So yeah, this is yet another of the moments in the game where if it's your first time playing, you could definitely spend who knows how much time blindly traveling the world before you get where you need to go. But the main danger with that, and it's an unspoken danger, but if you haven't, you know, saved up, if you haven't rested up, saved your progress, and all that good stuff, before you finally arrive to this location, there's a very good chance that you could be wiped out shortly after you do arrive. So, as much as I love this game, I have always considered that to be a bit of a cheap trick on the game's part. Like, I'm all for a good challenge. I'm all for something that's super challenging. But the main thing that I ask is, you know, don't have cheap tricks. You know, like, don't program the AI and just the game itself in such a way to where just because a player may be slightly overpowered with the level they're at, that you have to program the game in such a way to where they're going to have a much more difficult time, and it's much more easy for them to die and have game overs and everything. Simply because of certain factors, as just stated. Because it really is to the point where our monk is taking just about everything out in a single attack. So I would not be surprised if the game doesn't try to start attempting some really wonky and, you know, crazy things that we haven't witnessed before. So that's just another heads up kind of statement. Alright, here we are in the Citadel of Trials. And it looks like the crown that was obtained earlier in the game is going to be serving an additional purpose. And this is the throne that it seems like was referenced. referencing some information that I have saved up from the past, some of my earlier playthroughs years and years ago, because this area is not easy to remember, so I'm gonna be using my own guide. Using my own guide is going to serve as the easiest way to do this. And yes, I do encourage anyone who is, well, obviously everyone who's watching, but anyone who finds this of interest to record everything that's about to play out if you want a relatively easy time in this place. So each throne is an actual portal. So there's a portal type system. In this, I mean, technically, yeah, you could consider this a dungeon. It is, but it isn't. One of those types of things. So yes, you start off there, as we just witnessed. These little tiles are also a portal type system. Some of them there's no way to get to them without stepping on them first. Yeah, and another one first, I should say. But the overall, and I'm trying to find the page that I had it written down on, but it looks like, yeah, what I had written down from the past. There's a total of 15 warps in this place, and they have to be taken in the right order in order to get to your destination. If you take one in the wrong order, it will simply, I believe, start you from, I don't think the first floor, but this room right here that's seen on the screen, and you just start things over until you do figure it out. But looks like what I have written down as the correct order is 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, and 14. And each number corresponds with a warp panel. And I believe, looking at my reference again, looks that we should be about to step on warp panel 6 in this area. So right now there's no way to mess it up. It's all a straight shot, everything I've done so far. But now in this room, in the bottom left corner, this room has warp panel 7 and 8. And yes, I am real time referencing my own notes. So 8 is the net warp panel to take. And in this room, 7 is the top warp, and 8 is the bottom. And of course, it's a straight shot in this hallway. No way to mess that one up. But in the top left room where it takes you to, the warp panels are 10 and 11. And the net warp panel we need is 10. So in this room, 10 is on the right, and 11 is on the upper left corner. And yes, there are random encounters here, but for some reason it tends to be, well, not really that it tends to be a lower encounter rate, but the individual rooms that we are in, I don't believe, don't quote me on this, I'm not 100% sure, but I don't believe there's an encounter rate in any of the smaller rooms. I believe that you only encounter monsters in these larger hallways. Trigger encounter! Yes, shield 2 is a must. Go ahead and just do overkill. But the monk, he should, yeah, he took it out in one hit, but gonna get haste just to be safe. Alright, well. No need in it, but I'm not mad, it's just 1 MP. I wasn't sure if the warrior would be able to, good grief, it's almost 1900 hit points of damage with haste in place. But I wasn't sure if the warrior would be able to take it out in 1 hit. So we're going to find the gauntlets. Gauntlets in this chest. And it had a special attribute, but I will wait until we find the other special item to speak on them both at the same time. Alrighty, and looking at my notes again, we are in the top right room. And I'm also making it a point to talk so that no one thinks that anything has happened with the recording, because I know it's just sitting here, nothing's happening, and I'm trying to not have that take place for too long. Alright, so we had used warp 10 to get here, and the last one we need is a warp panel 14. But I gotta make it a point to not go straight down and run into that one by mistake, because that would be bad, and you do have to be mindful of where you're walking. Yeah, that staircase there. Trying to remember where it leads. There's no direct access to it. There we go. There we go. That is what it was. I wasn't 100% sure if that's how it would play out, but it was. So never mind. Warp panel 14 takes you directly into this room, and this is the staircase that we need to proceed. Alright. Now once here, this is the final floor. There's no more warp points. There's no more warp points, which is very nice. And yeah, some people could be like, that's kind of, cheating to use your own, reference. It's not. No. If you need help with something, you need help. There's nothing wrong with that. Especially when you're playing a video game that, even though you've beaten it countless times, it's been a while. I'm just speaking and switching from hypothetical to my own personal experience here. It's been a while since I last played this game. And do you know how many different video games I have not only played but beaten since I last played this game? I couldn't tell you. So, it's only natural that you're going to forget, certain aspects. So this is why one of my playthroughs, it wasn't my very first playthrough, unfortunately. I made that mistake, but it was my second playthrough when I got back to this point in the game that I was like, yeah, I'm definitely going to need to have some type of reference system in place for the future, because I knew, okay, cursor, I knew that I would be coming back to play this game at some point. Like I said, I've beaten this game countless times. It's just random points in life. And like, I want to play Final Fantasy 1. So whenever the mood hits, just depends on what mood I'm in to play whatever type of game. Alright, and the healing staff is the other item that I was hinting at earlier but did not actually come out and say. So, I'm going to sort everything so that we can access it relatively quickly. So we have the healing staff and gauntlets, and gauntlets should be around here somewhere. Okay. Alright, so good, they're on the same screen. Alright, so the healing staff, the staff with the heal effect, and gauntlets are gloves with bolt 2 effect. These are the first two pieces of equipment in the game that can also be used as an item in a fight. You can also equip both pieces of equipment, of course, but if you do that, then only the character that has these items equipped can benefit from using the equipment in a fight with whatever, bolt 2 or heal 1. But as I said, if you don't equip on anyone, any of your characters have access to it. But the one drawback, if I'm not mistaken, is that only one character per, I think it's either per round or per fight. I can't remember. I'll have to test it out eventually. But each of these two items can only be used either once per round or once per fight. So you have to be careful on when it's used. But what is nice though, especially with the healing staff, is that it helps out in a pinch. You don't have to worry about, using MP from your white mage in those types of situations. And it's also a really cool feature that they put in the game. More treasure chests. Just gotta get through this fight in order to find out what's in them. Yeah, and I wasn't sure if just being physically attacked by any of the Medusa monsters would result in stone status. So when that one attack did connect, I was like, oh, I don't know. I don't know what's about to happen. So steel gloves in the first chest. Another ice brand in the second chest. And very nice, a ruby armlet in the final chest. But I would definitely stick with the protect ring. I think that's what I have equipped on everyone. Okay, I'm not sure, but the special attack that the nightmare monsters have been using, Snort, I think was its name, that might have been capable of an instant death. And I can't remember. Oh yeah, I remember now. After that was unsuccessful, I remember that you can't harm them with poison, so I will keep that in mind in future fights. But yes, I'm not sure if Snort has that kind of effect, but if it does, then that's why it continued to miss. And I think either the gauntlets or the healing staff was in the leftmost treasure chest, so that's why it was already empty. So, as I had stated in an earlier episode, a much earlier episode, when the first time we experienced a mirrored treasure chest, I think it was way back in the one of the Marsh Cave episodes, but way back then, that was when that that method was first introduced in the game. And I think I even mentioned something along those lines that, you know, we will be seeing this feature return at different points throughout the game. And the rat's tail is the item. Really? Only one more. Actually, no, it's not. It's not really. This is a trigger encounter. Never mind. This is supposed to happen. Don't mind me. I simply forgot. And if the warrior does not take this dragon zombie out, then it will be overkill if the monk lands his attack next time. Definitely overkill. Definitely overkill. So 1165 experience. From that fight. But it doesn't even put a dent in what is required for our next level up. So moving right along. And just like that, we are done with the Citadel of Trials. And yeah, there's ways, believe it or not, but there are ways to make this game. There are ways to make this game even easier than what I'm sure some of you are thinking right now. That I'm making a lot of this look super easy. And for your standard fair type of fights, I would agree. But I have experienced, and I've said this, I don't know how many times in the past, but I reiterate so many different things because it's true. I have played this game so many different times, and I have experienced so many different types of behaviors from different types of monsters, different types of enemy formations, so forth and so on, that I want everything that's being witnessed by everyone to be as straightforward as possible. There's been times in the past, in past playthroughs, where I've thought that I was a high enough level because I didn't want to do overkill, to the game. I didn't want to make things, too easy for myself. So I thought that I was at that point of, okay, I don't need to try to level grind anymore because things will, be too easy. But I was wrong. And I'm talking like, and normally at this point in the game, in my past playthroughs, I would be like around level 30. So not too drastically lower in level than we are right now. But believe it or not, just a 2 or 3 level difference from where we are right now does mean that much in this game. And it really is crazy to think about, but it's true. And even now, I don't have any kind of guarantee that nothing crazy could happen, but I know from my own past personal experiences with this game that where we are right now level-wise, even if something extremely crazy were to happen, we can handle it. We're not going to have, unexpected, knockouts and game overs. Now we may come close. There's been several times, several different moments and several different episodes where we have come close to experiencing something very devastating. But it's because I am a few levels ahead of the game that we have been spared complete and utter ruination. Because normally I wouldn't have the protect ring on all the characters. I'm gonna double check, make sure that's his name, and it is. But I would not have that equipped. I would not have had the money to buy just one of them, let alone money to buy, to completely outfit the entire party and them. But that's a huge difference. I've learned that the hard way. You need that. You need that for not only the Citadel of Trials, but for a few other locations. Because as we progress in the game, some really nasty things are going to be capable of happening. Like monsters are going to become even more ferocious. They're going to have even more devastating attacks, whether it be special abilities or spells. Doesn't matter. So it's super important to gear up properly. This game was not designed to be easy at all. And I know, or at least I have a feeling at least, that I may be making this game look way more tame than it actually is, but again, I go back to the fact that we are a few levels ahead of the game. In some fights, that may make, the game look tame, super easy, but I can't stress it enough. It's worth it, because there's other fights that's not the case. You just never know. You just never know what you are going to encounter in the game ahead of time. So now that we are done with the Citadel of Trials, time to take the rat's tail to... Alright, enough with the black mage, I get it. But it's time to take the rat's tail to its rightful owner who needs it. Always make sure to restore anyone who has been poisoned. And also restore their health. But once again, thankfully, with the airship, this is the huge added bonus as well, as I stated earlier in this episode. But once you have the airship, you don't have to worry about enemy encounters when traveling through the skies. And yes, that, I think it was called Gaze, is that monster's special ability. I believe it would have been capable of inflicting stone status had that successfully connected, but thankfully it did not. And there are a lot of different caves where we're about to head. That's why I have the world map pulled up. All these different icons. The Dragon Caves, which is where we are about to head to. But out of them all, only one is truly worth checking out. The rest just contain basic items that you can easily purchase in any given item shop. But I believe, if memory serves me correctly, out of all of these islands, the most important one is this one. I think both. Oh, I'm mistaken. You can get some items here. Money! 2,000 gil. Over 2,000 gil. Almost 1,500 gil. And I don't think, and we'll find out soon enough, but I don't think there are any random encounters in this area. Wow, a whopping 9,500 gil. So since I have come to the wrong cave, it looks like I will just acquire anything and everything that we come across. I don't really have a set plan when it comes to these kind of things. I mean, sometimes I do, but then, you know, if I end up doing the wrong thing, then it's like, well, I might as well make the most out of it. So, how about this? If I stumble upon where I need to go before I get all the different items, money, and everything, I think this is just a dead end. Wow, I really got tongue-tied with that one. Alright, you gonna talk to me, or... Okay. Yeah, you talk. Okay, well, what happened? Alright, this one's gonna make me walk the whole little island. What do you have to say? I was gonna be okay. First I thought it was about to say the same thing as the other dragon. That's gonna be that really. But I was wrong. And see, it's definitely later in the game where it's important to talk to anyone, and in this case anything that you come across, because you never know who's going to say something of great importance. Just checking to see if there's anything in those pots, and there's not. And that's who we are going to see, Bahamut, King of Dragons. Only 10 gil. Not worth it. But yes, later in the game, pretty much where we are right now, always make it a point to talk to anyone and anything that you can, because you never know who's going to have something of great importance to say. This game is definitely set up where you can find future direction. And I think this might be it. Where Bahamut is, maybe. Could be wrong. But you can definitely find future direction in the most unexpected of places. But it's especially true in the point in the game that we're at right now. Okay, that's right, I forgot. We could have come here and they would have just told us about Citadel of Trials. For some reason I always, when I think to myself, I always think that it's in Gaia that they talk about the Citadel of Trials, but it's actually here. So that is my bad for forgetting that. Alright, nothing here. Or at least in that particular cave. But yes, the last two crystals of the game, their whereabouts and details on them and everything. I think this might be it. Let's see, is it? Yep, it is. Alright, so more on what I was saying about the last two crystals after all this is played out. And with that, a super important moment in the game just took place. As you can now see, all of our characters were just promoted. Our warrior has become a knight. Our monk has become a master. The white mage now a white wizard, and the black mage is now a black wizard. And in addition to the title change, I want to say I think it influences some of the stats, but it doesn't have a huge bearing on them. The main thing though is that, and it doesn't show here because I haven't stayed at an inn yet and recovered MP for everybody, but the knight is capable of using white magic up to a certain level. The monk, well, actually the master now doesn't, but he is a master with, the fist and, unarmed combat. So there's really no need for magic there because he is now the most powerful fighter in a physical sense. And white wizard and black wizard, they are both now able to learn every spell in the game. So everything else that we saw in Gaia earlier that could not be learned. And there's also a few different locations throughout the world that we now have to fully outfit from all the spells. Elfheim is one of them, but like I said, there's several different towns that we need to revisit. And in addition to the promotion, the sprites, the actual physical appearance of everyone has been updated as well. So what I'm about to do is head back to Gaia and rest and save our progress. Could we have covered a lot of very crucial moments in the game. So I'm going to save our progress, and in the next episode I want to, well, once this lady so kindly gets out of my way, excuse me. Yeah, I need you to come back this way, please. A little bit more. A little bit more. There you go. Thank you. $500 gil a night. Yeah, we definitely have it. So in the very next episode, we're going to be flying around the world, first class style, and tying up any loose ends, purchasing any new spells that we come across, so long as we have the money, of course. And we will continue our search for the final 2 remaining crystals. As always, thank you all so much for tuning in, and I'll catch you on the next episode. LP Guru, signing out.